Hi there guys, my name is Aaron and you can learn making create together with me in Adobe Photoshop. Today I'm going to show you how you can edit a portrait step by step using Tamara Williams Academy Panel. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we are in Adobe Photoshop, but first thing first, what we're going to do in today's video tutorial is that we need to clean. So here we have the Tamara Williams Academy Panel, which we are going to use today for the retouching process. And first thing first, what we're going to do, as I said, is the cleaning. So I'm gonna click here that says helping layers. And for example, as you can see, the helping layers are here to help us to clean the portrait as good as possible. And here we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools to clean the portrait. So I'm gonna click here on the first one, and we have the spot healing brush tool. So I'm gonna zoom in, for example, in the forehead, and I'm just gonna start cleaning the portrait. For example, the second one is for the magic stamp. You can just click Alt keyboard and copy the information that is on that and just paint it. So this is how you can copy and paste to clean the portrait. And the third one is the soft with a clone stamp tool. So we need to click here on the texture and click Alt keyboard, hold it, just click to copy and just paint to paste. So this is how you can clean with a clone stamp tool. And the fourth one is the edge, the clone stamp tool, which is kind of harder. And for example, this is how you can clean the portrait with a clone stamp tool. And the fifth one is the that says please click the checkbox sample all layers on top left in the settings. Click don't show again, click OK, and just paint it to clean the portrait, and just click here and wait until the which one is called the remove tool is done. Just paint it in the areas, for example, that you want to clean, just like this, and click here and wait until it's done. As you can see, that Photoshop is removing whatever that we are painting over, just like this, and click here. Wait again until it's done. It may take some time because of the internet and the PC settings. And the sixth one is the AI generative fill. So we need to just paint it on the areas, for example, that we want to clean. You can just paint it in whatever parts that you want. For example, here, 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 and whatever parts that you think that needs to be cleaned with a generative AI, just like this. And I think that this one is okay. And just click here that says apply and wait until the generative fill of AI does its job. This one is a cool feature in the Tamara Williams Academy. So if you want to get Tamara Williams Academy panel, make sure that in the discount section you put ERJ10 to get 10% off. Sorry. So here we have a before and after of what generative AI has done to our portrait. So here we have the properties, and we have 3 variations for this portrait. So you can zoom in, for example, here and check a before and after. As I said, we have 3 variations, and we want to enhance, for example, the first one, and we click here to enhance the variation that generative AI has done, and wait until the enhancing details are done. And because as you can see, the generative AI leaves the parts kind of blurry, and we don't want that. So with enhancing detail, it will reduce that blurriness just a little, but not completely. So if you want to get like serious into retouching and you want to get a really good job, as you can see before and after of what generative fill has done, which is looking okay. But as I was saying, if you don't want the generative fill AI to do your job, you can do it manually with the spot healing brush tool, magic stamp, clone stamp tool soft, clone stamp tool hard, and the remove tool, which is really great for cleaning, which is right here in the section of the cleaning layer tools. Sorry. As you can see, before and after what we've done so far into this portrait, which is looking really good. I'm gonna click here and turn all of them on. As you can see, Let me just put the helping layers on top. Here we have the texture and the magic stamp, clone stamp tool, which was soft, clone stamp tool, which was hard, remove tool, and here we have the generative AI. So here's a before and here's an after, which is looking really great. So I'm gonna create another background layer here and just click shift keyboard and click here, right click, and merge all these layers into a single one. So here we have a before and after what we've done. So as I said before, if you want to do the process as good as possible, you need to do it manually. So for example, you can zoom in and click here on the remove tool and just paint it in the areas that you want to be removed. For example, the here that we have on top of the lips, just like this. For example, if you want to clean some parts in the nose, maybe inside the eyes, the red wings, just like this. And for example, if you want to clean the eyebrows as good as possible, as I said, you can just paint it here, but make sure that you don't paint like too much, because it will take more time for the Photoshop to make the process. We just wait until the removing area is gone. And as I said, you need to do it as small as possible because it will take more time for this process to be finished. Let me just zoom in here what we've done so far. And I think that is looking okay. And now that we are done with some general cleaning, it's time for the dodge and burn. So I'm going to click here on the global, macro, or 50% gray, depends on the how you dodge and burn the portrait. So I'm going to click here on the global and turn on the black and white help layers. I'm going to double click here and make some changes just a little and make sure that this portrait is not that dark. And here we have the strong brightening, mild brightening, strong darkening, and mild darkening. So the mild and strong darkening are to burn the portrait, and the mild and strong brightening are for the dodge. So I'm gonna click here on the mild brightening and make sure the flow is 1% and opacity is by 100. One method that I usually use for dodge and burn is that I'm gonna click here on the window, click arrange, and choose new window for the name of the window, and click again to the window, arrange, and choose to a vertical. So in the left window, I'm gonna leave it zoom out just like this. Let me just make this smaller, just like this, and zoom out as good as you think that is okay. And in the left window, we are gonna leave it in the zoom in. Let me just make some changes just a little more. And you make sure that you keep an eye in the left window and you work in the right. For example, when we zoom in here in the mild brightening, click before brush and we start painting. For example, in this part, as you can see in the left window, everything that we do in the right window, it will be shown in the left window. So let me just do some changes here, and as you can see, before and after, as you can see, the dodge and burn is starting to look really good. So we need to keep painting as much as we needed for the portrait. So this is how you can dodge and burn a portrait. So for example, once that we are done with the dodge, we need to burn the portrait, and we click here on the mild darkening and we just paint on the parts that we need to make darker. For example in the highlights, sorry, as you can see, a before and after. So you need to keep working as much as possible for the dodge and burn, for this process to make it as good as possible. So as I said, you need to keep an eye in the left window and work in the right window. So this is the best way we can dodge and burn a portrait. So here we have a before and after. Let me just close the left window. So here we have a before and after of the dodge and burn, what we've done so far. And as you can see, it's looking really great. And once that we are done, for example, with a mild brightening and mild darkening, sorry, with a lighter tones, here we have the strong brightening, which is for the stronger parts. For example, the highlights that are in the cheeks, highlights inside the eyes, depends on the highlights that you want to put. Here we have a before and after, which is looking okay. Let me just check a before and after in the with the helping layers, which is looking okay. Here we have the strong brightening. For example, usually I use this part for the to create some contours around the portrait, just like this. Let me just make the flow 10% and just paint it there. So here we have a before and after of the strong darkening, which is kind of too much, so I'm gonna go lower it by 45. Here we have a before and after, which is looking okay. And now that we are done, for example, with a dodge and burn, we can click here and click here on the frequency separation. We have two different ways for the separation to work. Here we have the Gaussian blur, and here we have the median. So I'm gonna go with the median. And as you can see, the median, here we have the low or the base or the colors, and here we have the high or the texture, and here we have the correct colors. Usually in the correct colors, I work with a mixer brush. So the settings for the mixer brush are wet by 10%, load by 33, mix by 33, flow by 45. And usually I start like this. I start to mix the skin tones around the forehead, just like this. Make sure that you don't overdo this process, because once that you do, the portrait will look kind of too fake. So here we have a before and after what we've done so far, and make sure that you do this process as slow as possible, because we don't want to lose the originality of the portrait and we want to maintain the texture into the portrait. So in case, for example, that we overdo this part with the mixer brush, usually we lower the opacity of the entire layer. Let me just do this process as fast as possible, because I'm just going to show you what's going on with the correct colors. But as I said, you need to do it as slow as possible in order that the portrait will look as good as possible. So here is a before and after what we've done. As you can see, before and after. As you can see, we lost some of the highlights. Let me just zoom in. As you can see, before and after, which is looking okay. But one more thing that I'm going to do in the correct colors is that I'm gonna double click here and the layer style will pop up, and I'm going to remove the color that I did in the highlights. So I'm gonna click Alt keyboard, hold it, and just click here to divide this one and slide this into the left. And as you can see, the highlights will pop up. So here we have a before and after, and as you can see, the highlights are maintaining as they were before. And this one is really great. So here's a before and after of the frequency separation. And one more thing, for example, inside the frequency separation, for example, if you want to keep cleaning just a little more in the texture, you need to click here on the clone stamp tool. We make sure that 100% of the opacity and 100% of the flow, and just copy paste as near as possible. So in order to copy paste in the texture, you need to click Alt keyboard, hold it, and just click to paste, release the Alt keyboard and just paint to paste. So this is how you copy paste in the clone stamp tool, usually in the texture inside the frequency separation layer. So this is the best way or the best technique to clean a portrait. Usually I use the frequency separation to clean the portrait. But the tools that I showed you before are to teach you how you can clean a portrait in the first way. So as I said, when you copy and paste as near as possible, the texture will remain as original as possible. Because, for example, if you copy here the texture and you paste it here, as you can see, the texture will not look original and it will be fake and it will look horrible. So we need to copy paste as near as possible. Now check a before and after of everything else that we've done so far into the portrait, and I think that is okay. Now that we're done with the clean, dodge and burn and the frequency separation, it's time to make some changes in the color correction. For example, here we have the skin tone. You can just click here on the skin tone, wait until that one is done, wait until the color correction skin tone is done, because if you want to make some changes in the skin tone color, and here we have that says paint to unify skin tone here. For example, we need to paint over the face or the skin tones. But one cool feature that Tamara Williams Academy has is that we have some quick selection, and here we have the quick selection, which is skin. And we are going to paint it here with the, we need to make sure that the white color is under that black color, and click Ctrl and delete to paint it only in the skin color. So here we have the pick skin tone folder, and check one of them which you think that will look better for your portrait. And I think that this one is looking okay, which is 30%. And here we have the adjust brightness, reds and yellows. For example, you can double click here and play around with the red and yellow color. And here we have the adjust skin tone. You can just double click here and the yellows will pop up. But for example, if you want to make some changes in the yellow section, which is this one for the selective color, and click on the reds, make some changes here too. As you can see, the skin tones are changing. And this one, for example, is kind of looking okay, but with 100% is kind of too much, so I'm gonna lower, of course. And here we have the skin tone, which is looking really great, so I'm going to reduce it just a little. And here we have the eyes in the color correction, and click there, wait until it's done, and zoom in and just paint with a white brush inside that black layer mask. So this one is for the whites of the eyes, so we just paint it over there. Make sure that you don't paint it outside. So just like this. Make sure that you do the same process in both of the eyes. And as you can see, the red veins are gone with this amazing tool, just like this. So let me just zoom out, because every time that we want to check a before and after, in the zoom out we'll see things better. And I think that 100% is really great. We are going to lower just a little. And here we have the eye color. For example, if you want to change the eye color, you just paint inside the eyes, just like this. And just double click here on the hue saturations and move around with the hues. But for now, I think that I'm going to leave the eye color as it was before, but I think that this green is looking okay. But as I said, I'm going to leave the eye color as it is. So now that we are done with the eyes, it's time to put some iris or some catch light. So I'm going to click here on the iris, and I'm going to zoom in and just paint it there. I'm going to make a smaller iris highlight, just paint it there. And here we have the iris highlights, which is looking really great. So here's before and after, which is looking amazing with the highlights. And I'm just gonna click here on the layer mask and click B for brush. With a general brush, I'm going to remove the iris color from the eyelashes, just like this. So here's a before and here's an after, which is looking really great. And for example, if you want to play around with some iris highlights, but different ones, the Tamara Williams has some different brushes about the eyebrows, eyelashes, iris, and everything else. So here we have the freckles, eyeliner, eyebrows, catch light, iris, lashes, hair brushes, and everything else. All of them you can find in Tamara Williams' website. I'm gonna put the link in the description. And now that we are done with the iris, for example, we can even put some freckles into the portrait. So I'm gonna make this brush smaller to fit the portrait, just like this, and just paint it here. And here we have some freckles, but for example, with the freckles, we need to make some changes. For example, we need to make them blurry. So click on the filter, blur, and add some Gaussian blur to the freckles until you see that the freckles are okay. So I think that this one is enough. Click OK. Now check a before and after, which is looking really good. But for example, if you want to put some other freckles to the portrait, you can click again to the freckles, right click, and choose the freckles brushes that we installed from Tamara Williams website. We have some different freckles for this portrait, and I think that this one will fit. So I'm gonna play around with the arrows and make the freckles like upside down, something like this. Wait until it's done. We hold arrows to make some changes in the transform and just paint it here and just move around with the move tool, and you can transform the freckles into the positions that you think that will fit the portrait. And for example here it's okay, but as you can see they are kind of too much, so I'm gonna click on the filter, blur, and add some Gaussian blur. Oops, sorry. Filter, blur, and click here that says Gaussian blur, and 5.6, I think it's okay. So here's a before and after, which is looking really good, but we need to transform this one again. For example, in this part, and you can even delete the freckles from the highlights, for example, with a black brush. Just paint it there, just a little here, just a little here. And you can play around with different freckles. As I said before, you can click again here on the freckles, right click, and here have the freckle brushes, and you can choose whatever freckle that you want for your portrait, and you will be amazed with the results. But for example, let me choose again one more freckle. As you can see, we have a bunch of freckles, and I don't know which one to pick because they're really amazing, each one of them. I'm gonna zoom in just a little. Make sure that you play around with the arrows to fit the freckles for the face, and just move around just a little more, just like this. Make sure the freckles are kind of bigger for the portrait. Move tool to move the freckles just a little down there. Go to the filter, blur, add some Gaussian blur to the freckles. And one cool feature that we usually use for the freckles is that we double click here and the layer style will pop up, and I will remove the freckles, for example, from the highlights, or you can even remove the freckles from the shadows, just like this. But usually I remove the freckles from the highlights because usually you can see the freckles in the highlights, and here we have the freckles that are inside the eyes, and we need to remove that with a black brush. We need to paint them out just like this. You can even use a brush to paint them out. So here we have a before and after, which is kind of not too much, but it's looking okay. Now that we are done with the freckles, we can even play around with the eyebrows. You can click that says pick color from model eyebrow, click continue, and I think that this color is okay. We need to zoom in just a little to pick the color of the eyebrows. And as I said, when you download everything else from Tamara Williams, here we have the eyebrows. Let me just open the eyebrow brushes, and here we have a bunch of different eyebrows. And for example, here we have the left and the right. I'm gonna paint them on the left first and play around with the arrows just like this. Make the eyebrow smaller and just paint. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really great. I'm gonna use the move tool to make them, and click Ctrl and T to transform, click warp, and make that eyebrows fit the original eyebrows just like this. Click OK, and here we have a before and after. Let me just zoom in. They are looking really great. And here we have the eyebrows that are in this part. We want to remove that, and as you can see, a light is gone in behind me, but I'm gonna turn on a different one. This one is okay. Click here on the layer mask. Sorry for the mess. We click B for brush and make sure that is a default brush of the Photoshop, and just delete that part of the eyebrows. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really great. So we need to click here again and click here on the brows. Click continue to copy that color. Click OK because we copied that before, and right click, and the I think that we used this one. Let me just, yeah, this one is used in the previous brow. So we need to work with the same eyebrows that we have. You need to click transform and make you need to fit the eyebrow brushes with the eyebrow that you are putting. For example, this one is okay, just paint it there. So here's a before and after. Let me just zoom in, and I think that is kind of into gray color, so we need a darker color of the eyebrows. So I think that this darker color will fit. Click paint, and I think they're looking okay. Move the move tool to fit the eyebrow into the eyebrow originals. And as I said before, you can click here on the layer mask, B for brush, select a default brush to paint the eyebrows, just like this. Oops, sorry. Now check a before and after of everything that we've done so far, which is looking really great. And once that we are done with the eyebrows, with the brows, we have the lashes here. You can click here on the lashes section, and again you can right click, and here we have the lashes brushes that we have downloaded from the Tamara Williams, and you can play around with a bunch of eyelashes that we have here. You can zoom in, but I think that I'm gonna put some eyelashes for like the bottom lashes for this portrait. So here we have the full bottom, and I'm gonna check them one by one. I think that this one will fit because I used before. Yes, this one is okay. And move around with the arrows to fit the eyelashes, just like this, and just paint. So here's before and here's after, and again in the other one, make it smaller because I think the other side is kind of smaller. So here we have the lashes before and after, which is looking really great. You can click again on the lashes, and this time you can work on the top lashes with I don't know, I'm gonna find some bigger lashes, because as you can see the portrait has bigger lashes in the original section. And this one is for the right, this one is for the left. Sorry, I'm gonna make the lashes smaller. I'm gonna zoom in just a little and make the lashes smaller. I think this one is okay, but we need to transform with a warp. So I'm gonna click Control and T, right click and click here that says warp, and just move the lashes just like this. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really great. So click again on the right one and click here, click on the lashes, and I'm gonna choose this one, natural. That was sorry, we need to make this smaller, and I think that it was mid 4. Yeah, this one is what it was. And just paint it here, make the lashes just like this, and just paint it here. Click Control and T to transform, and click on the warp, and just move around to make the lashes fit your original lashes. So here's before and here's an after. So I'm gonna make a group of the lashes. So I'm gonna click here, click group, and rename them as lashes, because we have a bunch of layers and I don't like that. So here we have the brows, and click a group from brows, so rename it brows. So here we have a before and after of everything that we've done so far into this portrait. And now that we are done with the freckles, brows, eyelashes, it's time to put some eyeliner to this portrait. So we are going to zoom in just a little here, and here we have a default eyeliner, but we have a bunch of different eyeliners here in the brushes section. So let me just find the eyeliner here, and here we have a different eyeliners here, and you can check one of them. For example, I think that this one is kind of default and it will work really good. And I think that I'm gonna go with eyeliner left, which is 2, and just paint it there. Make sure that you copy the color that is in the eyeliner and just play around with the arrow just a little and just paint it there. Sorry. Just like this. And I think that is looking really great. But we need to remove that original eyeliner that we have before in the portrait. So I'm going to leave it as it is right now and just copy the eyeliner here, right click, Control and T, and click flip horizontal and just move it into the other section, but as you can see, the other part is kind of too dark and it's not affecting anything, so we're going to leave it as it is right now. I'm gonna click here on the mask and transform the eyeliner maybe into the position that the original eyeliner is. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really great. But as you can see, the eyeliner is affecting the eye. So I'm going to click here with a brush, and I'm just going to default with a default brush. I'm just going to paint it out. So here we have a before and after. Leave it by 100%. Now check a before and after of everything that you've done into this portrait. And I'm gonna work just a little more here on this eyeliner and transform it, because I don't like it how it looks. Maybe put this here. So here we have a before and after, which is looking okay. And now that we are done with the eyeliner, here we have some details about the iris, catchlight, freckles, brows, eyeliner, lashes, and hair. For example, we are gonna click here on the color correction, and click here on the lips and just paint it inside the lips. But usually I use the pen tool to create an accurate selection around the lips, just like this. You can even paint it with a white brush around the lips, but usually I use the pen tool to create a selection. So right click, make selection, and click OK, and just paint it with a white brush, just like this. So here we have a before and after, which is not looking that good because we need to make some changes later. So here we have the darker lips. You can even double click here and play around with a lipstick color. For example, you can go, let me just copy this one. You can even go to the blue color, I don't know, green, yellow, depends on the preferences of the lip color, but I think that I'm gonna go with this one. Click OK. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really good, but I'm gonna double click here because as you can see, the line is very harsh, so I'm going to smooth that out. So we need to double click here and the properties will pop up, and I'm going to increase the feather just like this. So here we have a before and after, which is looking okay, but as you can see, this kind of is kind of way too much, because as you can see, the color is affecting the highlights and the shadows. So I'm gonna double click here, the layer style will pop up. So I'm gonna click here, Alt keyboard, divide this one and slide this to the left, and as you can see, the highlights are coming into the life. Click OK. So here we have a before and after, which is looking really great. And for example, if you think that 100% of the opacity is way too much, you can always lower this one. Oops, sorry, what I've done. I'm gonna go by 75 for the lips. And I think that we are good to go with a 70%. Now we click here on the glow, we wait until it's done. And as you can see, there's nothing happening because the layer mask is totally black. So the cool feature that I talked earlier is that the quick selection. So we click here on the skin and we wait until it's done and click Control and delete. Make sure that white color is under that black color. So here's a before and after of the glow, which is a cool feature on the Tamara Williams Academy panel. And one more thing that we are going to add to this portrait is that we are going to put some blush. Make sure that you paint with a white brush, just like this. And as you can see, with 100% is kind of too much. So I'm going to lower it by 3% maybe. Now check it before and after, and I think that is okay. And now that we are done with the clean, freckle separation, dodgy burn, quick selection, color correction, and details, it's time to add some skin texture for the portrait. But as you can see, the skin texture is really okay into this portrait. I'm just gonna click here on add and click skin texture highlight. And I'm gonna click here again and click here that says quick selection highlights. And it will select only the highlights, and I'm gonna paint the skin texture only on the highlights, just like this. I'm gonna zoom in. So here we have a before and after, and as you can see, the skin texture, but I think that 100% is way too much, so I'm gonna go by 35. Now I'm gonna check a before and after of everything that I've done so far, and I think that we are good to go. And one more thing that I add to this portrait is that I'm gonna click here that says finish and wait until it's done. So I'm gonna put them into a group, sorry. So here we have a before and after. I'm gonna zoom in the forehead. So here we have before and after, before and after. So again, a before and after, before and after. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long video tutorial. Please don't forget to check all the links down in the description, because you will find the Tamara Williams Academy Panel. Make sure that you put ERJ10 to get 10% off in Tamara Williams Academy Panel. Let me know if I'm understandable or not, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.